Welcome back to our Kings related YouTube channel and the Kings related podcast, wherever you may be. If you're please watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up. It goes a long way. Also, if you're listening to this on audio form, on whatever podcast platform, Spotify or Apple, please leave a review and a 5-star rating. That also goes a long way of spreading this podcast out there. This is the recap of the Kings 130-126 loss in overtime of the NBA Cup to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And where should we start? Should we start with the good? Should we start with the bad? I thought this game was clunky for a lot of it. There was no DeRozan, no Monk. So Mike Brown started De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis, and Alex Len. Alex Len only played 4 minutes in that first half because the spacing was terrible in that first half. The 4 minutes he played in that first quarter. When Trey Lyles came in, I thought the spacing was better. The movement of the basketball was better. The Minnesota Timberwolves shot 50% from 3 in that first half. They were up as much as 20 in this game. Minnesota started the second half on a 12-0 run. The Kings had 3 timeouts to start the second half because Mike Brown used most of his timeouts in that first half because it was not a great first half for the Kings in that first half. But as we get to the fourth quarter, the Sacramento Kings in that fourth quarter outscored the Minnesota Timberwolves 33-17. And whenever you don't allow a team in the NBA to score 20, you are doing something right. I thought the Kings defense in that fourth quarter was a lot better. The ball pressure was better, and they weren't getting Minnesota good looks. The 3-ball was not falling in that fourth quarter like it was the previous 3 quarters. Minnesota ended up with shooting 40% from 3, 20 of 49. The Kings in that fourth quarter coming back from 20 down. They did it with defense and on the backs of their star, De'Aaron Fox, who scored a new franchise record 60 points, 3 rebounds to go along with that, 7 assists. Fox was 6 of 10 from 3. Sabonis, another double-double, 23 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. Sabonis did leave the game briefly because it looked like he kind of injured his lower back, but he came back in the game after going to the locker room. Keegan Murray, a double-double, 14 points, 10 rebounds for Keegan Murray. Um, Kind of an off night for Kevin Huerter in this game. He did not make a three, only 4 points, 6 rebounds. Um, Not much from the bench, but this was a game of the year so far because you had two of the NBA's biggest stars, and Anthony Edwards and De'Aaron Fox putting up incredible performances. I read you De'Aaron Fox, franchise record 60 points in this game. Anthony Edwards was just as good, 36 points, 5 rebounds, big bucket in that overtime for Anthony Edwards to just kill anything the Kings were doing. Plus, you got big buckets from Jaden McDaniels, too, before he fouled out there in overtime. Uh, Julius Randle, even though he had 26 points, not the same night that he had earlier this season when the Kings had the home opener. Mike Conley was hitting shots early for Minnesota in that first half, but I felt like the shots weren't going in as easier in the second half for Mike Conley. But De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Edwards, just a classic game. It was a shame that the Kings could not pull this one off for Fox and the performance he had. If you just had a little more help from guys like Hurdle, maybe Keegan Murray scores a little more. Maybe some guys off the bench. Not enough bench production from the Kings tonight. If you like Keon Ellis in this game, passed up three open shots from three. You got to take those shots. Don't pass up. Don't be hesitant. You passed up 3 shots. Trey Lyles, 41 minutes, 7 points off the bench, but he did have 8 rebounds. And I thought Trey Lyles got screwed late in that game. I think was it fourth quarter or the overtime? He got called for a foul. He got pushed into the player of Minnesota. Shouldn't have been a foul on Trey Lyles. And I thought for most of the game, the whistles did not go in the favor of Sacramento, but the Kings did not let that bother them. And we've seen it in the past where if the Kings were not getting that whistle, that would take them out of their game. They did not let that affect them here in this game tonight. So that's one thing. So if you get any sort of good production, the Kings could have pulled this out. Because that arena, Golden One Center, was rocking in that fourth quarter and in overtime, as it was mostly quiet for 3 quarters, just at least. So, especially for De'Aaron Fox, scoring a new franchise record, 60 points in this game. And I want to get something off my chest. Alex Len started this game. He played 4 minutes in that first half. Did not play the rest of that half. Because, as I said earlier, the spacing was awful in that first half, in the 4 minutes that Alex Len played. And then After halftime, Alex Len started that second half. And then he quickly went to Trey Lyles early in that third quarter because of that 12-0 run Minnesota got off to. So I got a question from Mike Brown. Why the hell did you start Alex Len in that second half? Knowing the spacing, I knew it watching that the spacing was terrible in that first half. If he only played 4 minutes in that first half, why the hell did he start that second half? Why? He shouldn't have started in that second half. I would have gone Trey Lyles to start that second half. Would the start of that third been better, and maybe Minnesota would have not got off to that 12-0 start? Who knows? But if Alex Len only played 4 minutes, why the hell did he start the second half? He only played 8 minutes in this game. So he wasn't great in this game. So he was, and by the way, I'm not a big plus minus person. Alex Len, by the way, was a minus 14. So that's one thing. So Kings lose their first NBA Cup. They're 0-1 in the NBA Cup, but they're now 7-6 overall this season. They play tomorrow night against the Utah Jazz, who are coming off a win of themselves the other night against Dallas. So you got a game tomorrow night, and I'll have another recap following Jazz Kings tomorrow night. So yes, Kings fall 130, 126 in overtime. Just to look at some other scores around the NBA, you had LeBron James versus Wemby, and the Lakers hold off San Antonio by 5, 120 to 115. You got the Cleveland Cavaliers improving to 14-0 after they beat Chicago 144 to 126. You got Golden State improving to 10-2 to start the season, beating Memphis 123 to 118. You got the Oklahoma City Thunder 11-2 now, beating a banged up Phoenix Suns team who did not have Kevin Durant, did not have Bradley Beal, and OKC wins 99 to 83. You had a short-handed Pelicans team beating a Nuggets team who did not have Jokic, and New Orleans wins 101 to 94 in this game. You got the Orlando Magic beating Philadelphia 98 to 86. Philadelphia is now 2-10 on this season. You have the Knicks outlasting the Brooklyn Nets by 2, 124 to 122. You got the Miami Heat beating Indiana 124 to 111. But to wrap up this recap, Kings fall 130 to 126 in overtime and are now 7-6 on the season as they play tomorrow night for a second night of a back-to-back as they welcome in the Utah Jazz to Sacramento, and we'll have another recap following that game tomorrow night as well. But thanks for tuning in to our Kings related YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up. I'll see you right back here following Kings Jazz Saturday night. Thank you and go Kings.